Okay. Um, this is kind of a not so crazy story, I guess. This is the first story. This is bomb threat at school that happened like a really long time ago. And this isn't like that really long time, but still a long time ago. Um, I chose this story to be my first one because um, it's just like it's not too crazy. I'm gonna save the crazy ones, like the really crazy ones. The second one I already picked out. The second one, it's not. It's way crazier than this, but still, it's not too crazy. Um, so basically, it was fourth grade. I was in elementary. Fourth grade. Um, and I woke up, uh, walked to the bus stop, went to school. Um, it was nice. It was good. Um, I'm just chilling, and walk into school. You know, okay. So back then, um, I'm pretty sure that we had to line up like on the hall at fuck like over by the hallway. We had to line up on the wall and for the class, and we had to walk in single file and whatever. So walked in, and I was in class. I'm gonna call her Mrs. Jones, okay? So I was in Mrs. Jones' class. But the thing is, Mrs. Jones wasn't there, and there was a substitute. That's not really important, but I'm just gonna throw in extra details and stuff. So, she starts teaching, just normal day and stuff. Until, um, the lockdown drill thingy. There was, in every room in the hallways, there was, this big, round thingy. And when the lockdown thingy, uh, when the lockdown, goes and whatever, um, it, like, flashes red and stuff. So basically, it started flashing red, um, and then we kept on going lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. It keeps on doing that, and I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So we go into the the area where the door is. We go behind the door, kind of the wall right next to the door. We go there. Um, the teacher, the substitute teacher, same thing, whatever. Um, like opens up the closet to block the view from the window of the door to the class. Better, I guess. Turn off all the lights and whatever. Um, and then we just start sitting there, and then 10 minutes later, um, there is a call, and then the substitute runs over and gets it, and then I'm looking at her, and she's on the call, and then she's talking, and then she's in shock, and she's in shock, and I'm like, what, what's going on? I didn't say that I was quiet during the whole time. I was just focused and whatever was going on. um I was just thinking, like what's going on, what are they saying, like what like what is even going on? This is going on for way too long, and she is scared, and then she run, after the call, she hangs up, runs back or to where she was sitting. um Yep. And then like 2 minutes later, we started hearing not good. That's like terrible. That's like the one of the worst things I want to hear at a school. Um, so then like a few minutes later, it's and then the principal goes on the intercom and says, "Soft lockdown. Do not exit your classrooms. You can resume teaching." Or something like that. So we resume teaching. Um, you know, later on the day, school ends and stuff. So I'm on the bus, and people are talking about that, and I guess another teacher, I'm going to call him Mr. Smith, actually told his students what was going on, and blah 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 blah. Everyone's talking about it. All of the schools were in lockdown. Because elementary, I was in elementary. We were talking to the middle, and middle was talking to high school, and high school was talking to middle. Middle was talking to us. We were giving all like each other info and stuff. Which is like crazy. Um, we find out that like it was a bomb threat, and I was shocked, and I went home, walking home from the bus stop, and my grandma, because like I get dropped off my grandma like by the from the bus, walk down to my grandma's house, and then yeah, my dad picks me up, brings me home, um, because the bus doesn't go out to where I live. So like yeah, my grandma was like, "So you're going to tell me what happened at school today?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it was just a normal day." And he's like, "Oh no, the fuck, it wasn't a normal day. There was a fucking bomb threat." I mean, she didn't really say that, but she was like, "There was a bomb threat. There was a bomb." Um, I mean, there wasn't really a bomb there. Everyone was safe. And stuff. Uh, I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that happened. Whatever." I did not care. I did not care about it. I just went to my room, and like, okay, but like the next day, Mrs. Jones was back and stuff, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sorry that I wasn't there. I wish that I was there." Blah blah blah. She wished that she was there. Um, and then like uh a couple days later, we actually found out what happened. So I guess like a couple days later, we actually found out what happened, and I guess there was these like prank callers from uh from like Ohio. Yeah. It was Ohio, and they called in to the high school, and they said that they had a bomb and whatever. So yeah, I mean that's what happened. Crazy story, kind of. This is gonna be my first story time. Uh, so yeah, I hope that you guys liked it, and yeah, peace.